When you clearly don't work somewhere, but people seem to think you do. Welcome to this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. Our first one is from Super Relationship 22. I, 15 years old at the time, 32 now, went to a Catholic high school in Canada, and at that point of my life was pretty straight-laced. Always on time, followed the rules, just tried to not get in trouble in grade 9. One day I go down to the principal's office as I wanted to see if I can have my MP3 player during my lunch period, mid-2000s, and was still very naive. When the vice principal, henceforth known as VP, saw me, his face went beet red and just pointed to his office, telling me to follow him in and take a seat. Though now I do have a tougher skin, back then it wasn't really the case and was already feeling myself go into an anxiety attack, so the only thing I was able to do was do what I was told and followed the VP into his office and took a seat. What happened after was pretty much one of the most vicious grillings I've ever received in my life, going on about missing school and how they found me in the smoke pit. I didn't even smoke. And how I was super close to being suspended, etc, etc. After around 10 minutes of this, VP finally relented long enough for me, who was on the verge of tears, to stammer out I just wanted to listen to music. After a few silent seconds, the VP turned his face towards the monitor and it was facing away from me and started typing away for a little while. After a brief pause of him looking at me and back to the screen and turned the screen around to reveal another kid's face who looked super similar to me, asking, "Is this you?" After answering in the negative and giving my name, his face goes ghost white after realizing what he had just done. Needless to say, after many apologies from the VP, and after a few minutes to recover, I was told I was able to listen to my music during lunch period for the rest of the year, if we kept this between us. I know it isn't super interesting, but I thought it may be a good laugh. How do you end these things? Toodaloo. Now, while this isn't a I don't work here situation, you have to love the contrasts between the two because the principal's mistaking a student for being a bad student when in fact they're not that student in the first place. You have to love how at the end though, they okay the MP3 use to keep everything hush-hush so things don't come back and bite them in the ass. This next one is by OK Outlandishness 1363. I, 32 female, went shopping at a big bulk membership only store. Rhymes with ma'ams. I went for cat and dog food, as well as some flea and tick stuff, and treats for the cats and dogs. A quick in and out trip, right? As I'm loading a bag of dog food onto my flatbed cart, I hear someone clear their throat. I go to load a second bag of dog food, and then a more stern, "Ahem, excuse me, hello?" accompanied by a tapping foot. Figuring she needed to get some dog food, I finished and said, "Oops, sorry, I'll get out of your way." This Karen went off on me. I just stood there in utter disbelief as this crazy Karen verbally dressed me down like I was a naughty child. So I just walked away. As she's screaming, she will have me fired to my back as I'm retreating. Fast forward, I'm in the self-checkout line and wouldn't you know it, here's crazy Karen, again, screaming that here is the employee that assaulted me and I demand she be fired, to the poor man in a fluorescent neon yellow vest, as all the employees wear. She's dragging behind her. He said, "Ma'am, I can't fire someone who doesn't work here. I don't know what to tell you." She then demanded he call the police because I assaulted her. Cops arrive, the manager and one officer go to view the tapes, and one officer stays to interview me, while a third questions Super Karen nearby. Obviously, they see the footage, and Karen was cited for trying to make a false report, and I got my stuff paid for by corporate that day, so it was a win. Sort of. In a roundabout way. You've gotta love the karma that this Karen received. I can guarantee you that she did not think that the managers or the police would actually go and review the security tapes to see that she was in fact lying. This next one is from Nilnyar. So I read these stories a lot and never had one happen to me until a few weeks ago. I went into the big box home improvement store with an orange logo. I was there to pick up a power washer attachment that I had ordered. I went to the pickup area at the customer service desk and they grabbed my item. As I walked past the return section of the customer service desk, the customer behind the counter says something to me that I only barely heard at first as I wasn't paying attention. I did catch that she was talking to me, so I asked, "What?" She repeated, "When you come back in, can you come back here and grab the paint and put it up?" I looked at her and then looked behind me, saying, "Excuse me? You wanting me?" She responded with that look on her face that looked like she couldn't understand what I didn't understand about what she asked. She repeated, "When you come back in from outside, please grab the paint cans and take them back to the paint counter." I looked down and sure enough, I see her confusion. I, wearing a Harley-Davidson jacket zipped up 3/4 of the way, and underneath it, I'm wearing an orange shirt. So I unzip my jacket, showing her the orange Harley-Davidson shirt underneath and say the iconic words, "Sorry, I don't work here." The look on her face was priceless when she realized she was asking me to do restocking work. She started turning red in the face with embarrassment and we got a good laugh out of it, but we'll make sure to not be wearing my orange Harley-Davidson shirts next time I go shopping there. Hate to meet a real Karen type who won't take the pictures of Looney Tunes riding a Harley-Davidson as not working there. See, in a situation like this, I can understand where the worker's coming from because where they're working might have a laxed dress code policy in terms of wearing a jacket over your work attire, and she just saw the orange assuming. I'm glad that in the end though, she didn't freak out or anything like that, but then again, she's clearly not a Karen. And our final one is by Magical Deer. So this was something I never thought would happen, but it did. It's been a while, busy with in real life stuff and COVID, so I didn't get much open time around, but this one made me want to laugh, especially since I thought that American Karens don't leave the States. It's after the 2019 Indonesian general election, and tensions are high. Riot police are setting up down in the basement of a shopping mall I frequent. Because I live nearby, the police and nearby military police station is setting up a command post. So the minute you enter the mall, you see a lot of cops at all the entrances, especially the metal detectors and X-ray scanners. Some malls in Indonesia put in place X-ray scanners due to the terrorist attacks, which means it looked more like the airport. Now, as a frequent visitor, the guards all know me. The cops not so much, but they follow the security guard's lead. So here I am at my local Starbucks, doing some work on my laptop with a cup of tea next to me. You can see that I'm busy with the paper piles, the food I just ate, and the tea that was getting cold. So here I was busy, typing up some documents when my headset, which I used to listen to some calming music, was taken away from my head. Luckily, I was wearing my cheap backup headset, but that didn't scare me. No, it made me mad. So I stood up and glared at eye level to this obviously Caucasian lady with blonde hair. Let's call her Blonde Menace, BM for short. Here's the combo. "Finally! Do you know how long I've been waiting for someone to take my order?" Most Starbucks workers wear uniforms with green aprons. I was wearing Marpat pants, a bright green shirt which has the words "Been there, done that," black shoes and a belt which has a phone pouch. Obviously, I'm not a worker. "Lady, this place is self-serving most of the time, and the place to put your order is downstairs." As I reply, I snatch my headset back. "But I've been waiting here for hours." "I don't fucking care, you yank." Because of the yelling, and the Starbucks being located near the main lobby to the mall, a couple of security guards came up. These two guards knew me. Both had been in this job for 1 year. "Sir, is there a problem?" Before I could reply, the Blonde Menace cuts in and starts making up bullshit about something that I couldn't keep track of. Finally, I decided to use the one voice I rarely used. It's one I usually use for morning parade formation at the flag ceremony back when I was in high school. "Shut up and sit down!" This caused the Blonde Menace to jump back a bit in shock, but this also caused both cops to come up to see what was going on. Seeing two Brimob officers, one carrying an assault rifle, has made the blonde menace realize she is now in trouble, and decided that retreat is a better part of valor. As she ran away, one of the guards gives chase. I explained everything to the security guard and police officers who understood, and the guard at the CCTV room saw everything. Last I saw of the blonde menace was being escorted out in handcuffs by a cop and the security guard who chased her. This is beautiful. 2 bits of karma for 2 separate Karens and 2 separate stories. I mean, honestly, what does she expect? Going into another country and acting like they're supposed to bend over backwards for her? You couldn't get more clueless. Alright, that's enough stories for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of I Don't Work Here Lady. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.